MIA for a little while, but she's back, playing Shaw, Sarah Shahi. The vested interest in her being back, please welcome Root Amy Acker. So I have to just ask about what we just watched, Greg, and very funny, very interesting scene, but what might that mean for the machine? Is it all fun and games, or might there be something a little ominous about what's happening there as well?
Oh, our show's never ominous. No, it's we're picking up right where we left off at the end of last season. Everyone might recall that the machine is now in a suitcase, and it's going to have to be reconstituted. But as you can see, it might be having some issues.
Some issues. I have to ask, any of the cast can jump in on this. What was that like to film and to get to do some amazing impressions of each other? Did it seem like you'd been doing years of training for this moment?
It was lots of fun, but it's also dangerous to do impersonations of your fellow castmates.
I would have loved to have done Fusco. Can I do a Fusco? I'd like to do a Fusco right now.
Shit.
Yeah. I like meat and potatoes.
I'll give it a 7.
Amy, they give you a lot to do in that. How was that, playing all those different characters?
I was just afraid no one was going to ever talk to me again. I kept telling them, I know it's bad. Just please still like me.
I think Amy called me every day and said that to me. I have to do you. I hope you're not mad at me.
Jim, did you have a favorite character you got to play in that sequence?
Oh my gosh. I can just tell you that at one point Amy called me up and asked me if I would do an impersonation of myself for her as Reese, and so I sent them out. And then I think Sarah wasn't even there at the time, and she got one too. But anyway, I really feel that I'm glad I didn't have to do Amy. I got the guys down. I don't think I would have had the girls too much.
Kevin, was comfiest day on set, getting to wear the PJs?
That was a great day at work, actually. I couldn't believe I got paid for that.
You didn't get to see Kevin's bunny slippers they gave him.
So there's going to be a lot of tumult. There's going to be a lot of change. There's going to be a lot of heartbreak this year, but there will be no filler.
Chris, you're directing the return episode, right? Anything this guy will let you tease about something we should look for in the premiere? Anything you're excited for people to see?
Well, yeah, as Greg said, we pick up seconds after the season 4 finale. The only distinguishing factor is that it's not the middle of winter anymore, unfortunately. So we tried to make, bear with us, we tried to make New York look as cold as possible as we could in the middle of July. So yeah, there were challenges, to coming back after such a incredible finale episode. The writers just outdid themselves with the end of season 4. So there's a lot of good pressure on us here in production in New York to kind of keep the show firing on all cylinders like it was when we left it. And like Greg said, the future of the machine as we left it at the end of season 4 was in such a precarious state, and what happens with the machine and what they do or don't do to save it is really spectacular. And I don't think we're going to let you guys down with the premiere episode. I think it's one of our best premieres we've ever done. Also written by Greg, so it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Margot, this show looks to me, just watching from the outside, like a daunting one to pull off. That there's just a lot going on in this show. What are the particular challenges Person of Interest throws at you, and are there any new challenges this season?
That it's an amazing place to work, this city, and I think the challenges are, I think they're similar, but I think we've gotten really good at working within this amazing place that we work and live in, a lot of us. And so we've we have a shorthand as a team and as a production that weaves and dodges in through the 5 boroughs of New York City, and I think we do it amazingly well. It's that classic term, well-oiled machine, but I have to say we really have become that, and it's a really awesome thing to be a part of, both with, all of us as a team are, from all of us here to the crew members to everybody that moves us around the city. So I think the challenges are the same, and we've just gotten pretty darn good at it, at maneuvering.
Jim, I think it's an understatement to say Reese is a man of action. Given what's happened, the loss of the machine, I feel like he's not going to be one resting on his laurels. Is he just finding a way, whether it be on his day job as a cop or just other means, to still kind of go out there and right the wrongs he can in the meantime?
Well, he's very focused this year. I think the episode last year between him and Carter and her death, and the things he never dealt with, as far as his love for her, and this year, from that episode, I think it's given him a reason to bring the team together, to use the tools that he has as a black operator to help bring that team together, and to really go to Finch and say, we can do this, and I've done a lot more with much less, and to instill that belief in Finch, and that I'm not going to let you down.
And Michael, kind of bouncing off that, it was a pretty downright emotional goodbye that Finch had with the machine, which might sound bizarre on the outside, but when you see it, you understand it. Is he essentially grieving right now, or is he kind of trying to be more proactive? It sounds like Reese might try to have to help him on that level.
Mr. Finch is in kind of a bad place because all the years he's been programming the machine, I think he's tried to keep it, that relationship and a non-personal one, to keep it cool and professional, and the machine is just this a tool that he can use for good, but which he doesn't have strong feelings about, and yet we see bleeding through all this parental passion and this care, because the machine is, approaching a kind of personhood, and it's the most important entity in Mr. Finch's life. I think it would be safe to say that. And so, yeah, when push comes to shove, when something that can talk to you seems to be dying and you've spent the bulk of your life with it, there's going to be an emotional kick to that, I think. It's really fun stuff to play, and really interesting, too. I think just in general, the relationship between a human and an intelligent machine, that's going to get to be a thing that we or our descendants are going to have to negotiate someday.
And then, for you, Kevin, as Fusco, he's learned more and more through the years, but he hasn't learned everything. Right now, given the fact that they don't have the machine, might someone like Fusco with maybe more traditional classic tactics be someone of use to them? He's always been of use to them, but even in a different way this time?
No, I think this season Fusco kind of goes a little bit rogue. There's a lot of questions that he has, he doesn't have answers to, and he's hell-bent on finding out those answers. So he's going to be treading in some very dangerous waters, but it's going to be really a lot of fun. Hey, can I just say something real quick? Look at this. We're in season 5. Look at this crowd, man. This is unbelievable, huh? We're here talking about season 5. There's not a seat in the house. This is unbelievable.
So, Sarah, everyone's been wanting to see Shaw return. She's coming back, but is it all, looks fine, or is there cause for concern? Because clearly something was going on last time we saw little glimpses of her.
It's everything. Shaw comes back in a very dynamic way. Much like the introduction of my character, I think I get a standalone episode. And I want to talk really quickly about the Root Shaw dynamic, because I hear that seems to be a desired subject.
Just a little.
You know, my first job was on the L Word. And I am no stranger. I'm not giving anything away, Greg, so, don't be nervous. But I think the audience is going to be happy with what they see. I think they deserve to see what's coming up. And when I was on the L Word, I remember getting an outpour of emails, messages, not emails, I'm sorry, fan letters, saying how important it was for them to be able to have someone like Carmen on screen or any of the cast, and how, the girls, they would have trouble coming out or they wanted to kill themselves, and then they saw the character and how it gave them strength. When Amy and I first learned about the direction that our characters were going to, I think there was a little bit of surprise on our face. Jonah and Greg always said, hey, we write to what's there, which I'm going to call a little bit of bullshit. But that's okay, because I love you guys. And, we're both married, so we know where the inception of that came from. But I am more than happy to continue this relationship on behalf of all the LGBT community that's out there. I think it's incredibly important for them to have role models, for them to have someone on TV that they can empathize with, that they can emulate, that they find strength in. And with that said, I am so happy I get to work with this lovely lady. She is so easy to look at. She is so easy to as an actress, to play with, to be a scene partner with. Okay, all right. That's not what I meant, but all right. So with that said, I just wanted to say that, thank you, Greg. Thank you to Jonah for writing the storyline, because this has been, one of the most fulfilling things for me personally, just to continue on this representation and to be an extra voice for that community, which I feel like is underrepresented.
Amy, your Root was very bound and determined to find Shaw, and now she's returning. And so, what does she? Is it just okay? Great, she's back, or is there any hesitation because of the circumstances that it was all under?
That sort of becomes an interesting dynamic between the rest of Team Machine, because Shaw has been gone, and when she comes back, we don't know 100% if she's trustworthy, if what Samaritan's done to her. That being said, I am definitely on the side that Shaw can do no wrong, and even if something had happened, I think that Root feels like their relationship is strong enough that she has the power to turn her back. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting struggle between everyone to see how, and ultimately to see what has actually happened to Shaw.
So for Jim and Michael and Kevin, what do your characters make of Shaw being back? Or is it, just the happiness, or is there hesitation and wariness with what's going on?
There's a big wariness with Reese, because is she going to disrupt the team? Is she a Samaritan who has grown exponentially going to sink its claws into her mind? Is she a Manchurian candidate? So, say you.
Yeah. And what about you, Michael? What does Finch think of the situation?
Shaw has always been a kind of a mixed blessing. She's a formidable warrior, but she's a little unmanageable. And Mr. Finch kind of likes people that take direction a little more than that. So he's going to have to keep an eye on her for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Fusco was there too when she died, quote unquote. But again, because he doesn't have all the info, is he just, wow, that's amazing she's alive, or does he have any, what's going on here?
I think Fusco has always carried a fondness of Shaw, just for the simple fact that she saved his son in season 3, saved his son's life. So I think that's a bond that you're never going to break.
Mm-hmm. We're going to start taking audience questions in a minute if you want to come up with those. And I know there's mics out there somewhere. We can't see you, but you can see us. But I wanted to ask Greg a bit more about Samaritan because they've really turned into sort of this huge, ongoing villainous presence on the show that I think, is kind of somewhat surprising that, they're going to wrap it up this season, but you haven't. Did that surprise you? Did you know when you began the Samaritan story how, sort of big they would become?
No, we always knew how big it was going to become. And I think, the show always tries to be relevant, not to be joking, but right now, you have some of the greatest minds, Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk, are warning people about the advent of artificial intelligence becoming our world's next great existential risk. And I don't really know how you top that. I don't really know what's scarier than that. And I think that's what the show has always tried to be. It's always tried to be, on the cusp of what appears to be science fiction is something that we can incorporate into the show, whether it's the surveillance state, the advent of artificial intelligence, all these things are questions that we're dealing with now. The question of autonomous drones and robots making the decision to kill people. We're here, people. It's happening now. And that's what our show wants to, that's the part of the show that we want to stick to your ribs. And there's one other thing I like to say is that, I'm very excited about the show being available to people now to stream, also on WGN and Netflix as well. But, I think it's a real testament to our show that I look at the fall schedule of broadcast television and I see about 3 shows that are ripping us off. So I don't think they're doing it quite as well as we are. So.
Before I go to audience questions, I just want to ask Chris and Margot. I ask this question of actors a lot, but I realize I should ask other people this question. When you're working on a show like this and you've got a busy day and a big job, do you start, when you see how intricate the story gets, do you start asking Greg, hey, where are you going with this? What's down the line? Or do you prefer to just find out as you're going, as you're getting the scripts for each episode?
This year actually, it's an interesting question. This year we did something that we have not done before. We came to LA and spent some time in the writer's room before the season started, and sort of just had a powwow with the mothership back in Los Angeles. So that's new this year. Before that, I got to say, I love this show as a fan, and so it was kind of fun just being in New York waiting for the next great script to land on my desk. And I didn't want to ask too many questions, so I didn't want spoilers for myself. I really, I love this show for so many reasons, not the least of which I love to watch it. And so it was kind of fun not knowing what's going to happen. The good news about when we came to visit the writer's room this year, they weren't quite yet to the end, so I still don't know either. So I'm right with you guys and waiting to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. You, Margot?
Yeah, same thing, same here. I mean, I think for us, it's a little more, seeing a little bit more into the future is helpful for a lot of, on a lot of levels when you're producing a show like this, because to be able to look and look at the whole, even though we like Fish says, we went out to LA and we powwowed and it was super great, and but not knowing all the intricacies is what makes it fun for us and keeps us fresh and creative from our from where we work. But yeah, I mean, I think just we had an overview. There's always lots of questions about where we're headed. I'm always calling Greg or Denise or just trying to get a little extra scoop on something so I can prepare in more of a production way. But yeah, it's helpful to get a little extra overview.
So we're going to go to audience questions. We don't have that much time, guys, so let's try to keep questions about the show, not a selfie request or a marriage proposal. So let's start out with the first one.
Hi, how are you? My name is Leslie, and I'm from Long Island. And I want to say thank you to you guys for coming down to Nassau County and filming a couple of scenes there. And it was awesome to know that you guys were right there near my hometown. And my question is for Jim. Is he ever going to find love in this season? I always so passionate for him to finding love. He's always divulged into his work, and the love interest comes about, but then work gets in the way. Is he going to find love this season?
Well, I think you might find, to answer your question, you might find love in about episode 7 for 5 minutes.
Aww.
Because
I feel so bad for you because you're so sweet in the show.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I can just tell you that look, the whole premise of this is the numbers. You are the numbers. You are the ones that keep this show afloat.
I love
You're,
it.
And that is his heart, is about saving those people. And you know, I'm reminded from your question, just that how much I love my castmates. This has been the greatest team. Whatever, if we have another year on the show, I want to tell you, thank you for your support, because you really have been the driving force of you know, believing in the content that you're seeing, and you know, that I have been really blessed to have such a great team here, and whatever happens, this will be one hell of a season.
Great, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Looks like we have another line over there, so let's see.
Hi, I'm Tina from Connecticut. I'm a huge fan of the show, but I want to say there are many Chinese fans here today. Yeah! I think you guys have the best show on TV ever. But my question is for Amy and Sarah. So in terms of Rude and Shaw's relationship, I don't know how much you can say, but what can we expect in season 5?
Just let your mind run rampant. That's the best answer I can give you, with teasing it appropriately and not telling you anything at the same time.
Okay. Amy?
I don't want to get in trouble. Greg's right. Root will be very happy.
Let me just put it to you this way. Amy and I both have bruises, and it's not from any of the fight scenes I've done.
Well then.
Thank you.
Thanks on that side.
Drop the mic on that one, huh? You know, actually, I wanted to say something. Thank you, Sarah, actually, for pointing that out earlier. But I also wanted to say, are there any female characters on television that are as kick-ass and as cool as these two ladies? It's unreal. In every other show I'm watching, you know, it's the wife, the mother, whatever. But I think they're individuals, and you know, obviously excellent actors in their own right. And it's been a pleasure, and we're certainly ecstatic about having Sarah back on the show.
Next question here.
Hi, this question is for Jim Caviezel. And I just want to ask, me and my family were a huge fan of the movie we're in, Frequency, and I wanted to know if you can come.
Little Chief.
And I know both the show and the movie both heavily rely on like machines to communicate, and I want to know if you could compare the movie Frequency to your character Reese on Person of Interest.
John Sullivan, the character in John Sullivan.
Yeah,
you're asking me, are they similar?
Yeah, are they similar, are they different?
Why, I don't know. I'm going to be embarrassed here. I don't think I have a good answer for you. You know, I think that maybe the closest thing to that episode was him communicating to Carter last season, and not having a chance to have said what he wanted to say to her, and then getting that opportunity was similar to the movie Frequency. For all you Mets fans out there,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question there.
Hi, my name is Nicole. My question is for Amy and Sarah. When Rude and Shaw are reunited, what would you think the first thing they would say to each other would be? Also, I love you.
Well, I love you
We
too.
love you.
What do I think would be the first things they would
What
say to
if
each
we
other?
already know?
What took you so long, bitch?
tell you that.
That's what I would say. After a long time in captivity, what took you so long?
Thank you.
To watch and see.
Yeah.
Next question here.
Yeah, I helped.
Yeah, hi. First of all, Jim, you're a badass as John Reese, and love doing frequencies too, Little Chief. My question is for Mr. Emerson. As somebody who's had a neck and back injury, I've dealt with with being able to move around, and I just wanted to ask, first say that your performance, I really appreciate it, and just how the physicality of it, and then did you ever have any way to prepare for that, or?
Well, I knew when I read the pilot script that he had some physical infirmities, and that it was kind of up to me to pick them. So I tried to pick something that played strongly but wasn't going to tie me in knots so badly that I would require physical therapy. But over the course of 5 years, it's funny how you slip into a thing like that, and there are days when it's harder to stop doing it than to do it, if you know what I mean. I struggle in the flashback scenes pre-injury to turn my head left and right and to walk on both feet equally. It's a tricky business, and it has psychological ramifications, as you know. So.
Yeah, because like even here, I'm like watching the film or watching them like this, trying to go back and forth. One last thing for Amy, real quick. Root with God in her ear versus another god, Illyria. What happens there?
It's a hard one. I don't know. I may have to go with Root.
Nice. Thank you.
Next question on that side.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I'm from Montreal, Canada. And I just wanted to say the Root Shaw representation is like so amazing. Thank you so much for talking about it, Sarah.
Yes, and thank you to Warner Brothers and to CBS for allowing us to go there, by the way, Greg. If you can pass that memo along.
My question is for you two. The characters you play is very different from you guys. You're very happy and they're not. How do you have a specific process for getting into character?
I have twins, and 7-month-old twins, and my character at the moment, you know, she's to say that she's tired is polite, you know, because she's been through a lot. There's my life is parallels a little bit, I guess, to being in captivity with Samaritan.
torture?
I don't know. Yeah, to torture. But you know, the writing is so good on the show, and you know, I feel like, I don't know if this is true or not, but at least for me, I feel like every character that an actor plays, you'd have to try and tap into that part of you which is like that, you know, and then again, you know, not sleeping since March 1st definitely makes it more accessible to me.
Yeah, I definitely think, I mean, the writing is where you can always fall back to the script, and they give us so much, and they're always there to talk to if we need help, and it's always like getting a little present when you get a script and find out what you get to do next.
Thank you.
Next question on this side.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Okay.
It'll be okay. We'll get through this.
Okay, so I was here last year, but okay, the first question I have is, what kind of jobs did you all have before you became actors? What made you want to become actors? And what kind of struggles did you have to go through? And I'm always the good person and I always follow rules. So last year I did not get a hug from Jim Caviezel and was told the same thing this year, that I could not get one. So Jim, can I get a hug? You would make my day, my year. It would be an early birthday present.
Oh, that's right, baby. I'm Elvis Presley. Come on up here.
That's why I wanted to be an actor.
Her nervousness went away dramatically.
Awesome.
So everyone's job before they became an actor.
The whole damn thing has been hijacked, has it?
Yeah, exactly. Next question.
Who's she playing this season, Greg?
I know you got Should we keep it going with the next question, maybe?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I got a pen right here.
Next question.
Yes.
Yeah, Michael.
Hi, my name is Christian. I came all the way from Puerto Rico, and I want to ask you, since my favorite part about the show is the epic quotes that the characters are able to say, and especially I wanted to know who writes the quotes for Greer and the quotes for Finch.
Greg, do you have a Greer guy and a Finch guy?
Yeah, we'll have to ask a writer. I don't know.
No, I think we've really been blessed with an incredible writing staff, and it's just been a real testament that we've had a number of people who've been with us from the very beginning, and the same thing I want to say about our crew, who a number of them are actually here in the audience right now.
Yeah, where is that crew? Matt Roper's here, Kate, Tony, where are you? Stand up, guys, where are you? I'll make us come look for you. Michael Pitt.
Michael Pitt. Stand up, Roper. I see you right there. Come on, stand up, Matt Roper.
Where's Matt?
Matt Roper.
Yeah. There's our man, Matty Roper. Michael Pitt, Kate.
I think a lot of the people that work on our show are real fans of the show, and that's an honor. And when you get a 13 episode instead of 22, 23, you're never sure if they're all going to come back. And what I've heard from all the directors who go out and do our show is how dedicated our crew is and how much they love the show. I guess we must not be doing something too bad from the writing standpoint if people are sticking around, and we got these lovely people making us sound good.
I also wanted to say, Amy, I love you since Dollhouse. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
All right, next question here.
Okay.
Jim's new friend, I'm sorry. Hope this question isn't for Jim.
No, it's actually sort of random and sort of for everyone.
I think Reese found love.
So this question is sort of for everyone. There are quite a few times on camera when you guys are all eating or having dinner or something, or in Shaw's case, vigorously destroying sandwiches. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the logistics of that, and if there were any foods that you just can't eat anymore because you had to eat them a ton of times, like for a bunch of takes.
You guys embrace on-camera eating, which most shows try to avoid.
I love eating on camera. I do, because, I guess in my everyday life, I try to be healthy, but Shaw's, she's not very forgiving when it comes to food. I mean, she'll eat anything. And so if I get an opportunity to eat, then I get to indulge in all the foods that I don't normally eat. It's pancakes, waffles, steak on a knife, whatever it is.
Anyone else
I have the opposite problem. I snack all day, so I'm just excited that I get to keep eating and have a reason.
Thank you. Next question there.
Hi, I'm Maureen from Toronto, Canada. A big fan. I'm actually dressed as Shaw today.
Oh, yay!
Complete with bear. So my question is, one of the coolest things about Person of Interest is how it speculates about the power of emerging technology, how it can be used and abused. Have any of the show's ideas or themes changed or had an effect on how you think of the world now, or your opinion on policies on technology or politics?
You didn't give that much thought, did you?
Light
well, besides being more paranoid,
Anyone?
One of the coolest things about this show, and just last week, Jim sent me an article about, rooftop cameras on all the police cars in the city, and we're constantly swapping stories now with stuff you can't believe. That I think I sent something to Sarah. DARPA's putting chips in people's heads, and we're creating autonomous drones. It's nuts. It's all here, and we try to incorporate that into the show. And the fun thing is that oftentimes we'll write it, and then like 2 months later, something will come out and say, yeah, that's real, that's happening. And so I think that's always been a fun aspect of the show.
I just sent him an article on how they're coming out with police cars that they can see what you're doing in your car 100 meters away. And you say, well, that's good, then they'll catch people texting. Yes, but there's also Pandora's box. There are a lot of other things that people do in their cars, and privacy is eliminated. The medical community, the things that you have on yourself that you might not want the world to know, well, they're going to be knowing about everything. And so what I love about this show is it delves into that. It seems like a great thing, but when you put it all in perspective, a lot of it's pretty bad.
Well, guys, unfortunately, our time is up. But Person of Interest, currently you can catch on WGN, season 1 through 3 on Netflix. Don't worry, season 4 is coming before season 5. Date to be announced. Thank this crew, Person of Interest, guys. Thanks a lot for being here.
you.
No problem.
It's really great.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, good. Oh, good. Bye.